Sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Good evening, everyone. This is Bob Pompeani. We're live tonight in the Fan Cave, as we always are. It's 412-575-2600. After the game, we took calls. If you didn't get through and you want to call now, please do so. Call us, or you can also hit me up on Twitter. It's at KDPomp. We have a lot to get into today. Steelers come away with a very big win. They needed it after losing 5 of the last 7 games. They were 2-5 in that stretch, which put them into a tie with the Ravens, who had won 5 out of 6, although they just got, 4 games left. First of all, it starts with Miami on Monday night. They got to win that game at home, although the Dolphins now have won 4 in a row, and they're right in the middle of the wild card race, so you got to watch out for that team. And then after that, it's a trip to Detroit. That will not be easy. Detroit is a tough place to play at Ford Field. We'll see if the Steelers can handle them. Then it's at Cleveland, which historically has not been a good place for the Steelers to play as well, even though they're terrible. They're 3-10 as they lost to the Titans of all things today. And then it's the home game after that to the Baltimore Ravens sometime in January, either the 3rd or the 4th. Those dates and times will be announced as they get closer to it. But it could mean the whole division, or the Steelers could have things wrapped up. Whatever the case, whoever wins the AFC North will be the only representative in the postseason, you would think. So that would mean that the Steelers would get a number 4 seed, a home playoff game, and would likely play teams like either Kansas City, Buffalo, Houston, Jacksonville, maybe, depending on how things go. Colts had a tough break today because Daniel Jones, he messed up his Achilles. He's going to be out for the rest of the year. It was a non-contact injury. He's been dealing with other injuries, so that's not good for Indianapolis. They're fading back. Jacksonville is taking control of that lead. I also want to talk about the college football playoffs. I'm sure you have viewpoints on this. Mine is Notre Dame got out, and quite frankly, I think it's I thought Alabama was going to be out. I really did. After they got bludgeoned, I thought, yesterday by Georgia. I know they beat them earlier in the season, but this is the title game. I expected it to be close. It wasn't, and so I thought they may pay the price for that. So instead, they came out and they got in. Instead, it's Notre Dame that's out. And as Duke beat Virginia last night, to me, that gave a path to Miami. It's the only ACC team in. And you see these matchups, James Madison, they're going to take on Oregon in the 5-12 matchup, Alabama, Oklahoma, 9-8, Tulane, Ole Miss in the 11-6, and then it's Miami and Texas A&M. The winners then move on to get the top 4 seeds, I should say. And those would be the JMU Oregon winner gets at Texas Tech, and then the Alabama Oklahoma at Indiana, Tulane Ole Miss, Georgia, and then it's Miami Texas A&M winner against Ohio State. And if you saw there, Indiana is now the new number 1 after they won that game in the Big Ten championship game. What a job Kirk Cincinnati has done. Pitt, on the other hand, they're going to end up in the Military Bowl against East Carolina. Penn State will be in the Pinstripe Bowl against Clemson, and Penn State will introduce their new head coach tomorrow up at Happy Valley. So we're going to talk a lot about all these issues and more coming up at 412-575-2600. Hit me up with a call. I'd love to talk to you tonight on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, live right here on KDKA+. All right, this is our Xfinity tweet of the night. John Rothstein puts it in perspective here. Pitt, this is basketball we're talking about. They lose a bye game to Hofstra, the epitome of brutality. And it really is what bye games are, in case you don't know, is Pitt needs somebody to fill out their roster of games to play, so they just go out and offer money to teams that come in here, and you take the money if you're Hofstra, and no matter how badly you lose. When in this case, they didn't lose. They came in here, took the money, and ran and went away, and they got a win as well. And that's the second time this year that's happened, because Quinnipiac was in here earlier and did the same thing, a bye game. It's just not a good look for Pitt basketball and head coach Jeff Capel. 412-575-2600 is the number to call. Let's get to the phones and hear what you have to say about what went on today. And we'll begin with JD in the North Hills. What's up, JD? How are you?
Hey, Bob. How's it going? First off, let me talk about the Pitt Bowl game. I think this is a very weak bowl game, if you ask me. Pitt could have played in a Holiday Bowl or a better bowl than this. And as far as Notre Dame goes, I mean, they should be fined. If I was in case they can get fined $500K for not appearing in the postseason, what's to say Notre Dame should not be fined $1 million by the NCAA for just refusing and absolutely crying like they are, however, and refusing to play in the bowl game? I mean, they should be penalized as well.
They will pay a price for that, and Baylor's another team. There's 4 teams right now that have elected not to be involved in bowl games. And this is the problem you have with this setup the way it is. A lot of these kids now are looking to their next NFL opportunity or whatever opportunity. They don't even want to play in these bowl games unless they're meaningful ones in the college football playoff. But JD, as far as Pitt is concerned, I was hoping they get the Pinstripe Bowl to rekindle Pitt-Penn State. I thought that would be good. A lot of people have told me Clemson's a bigger national draw. Clemson's not that good this year, and I think you'd get enough people from this area who would want to make their way up to New York to watch that game as opposed to Clemson. Or I may be wrong. I don't know. I just was hoping that would be a game since they don't want to play each other. That would be a good game to force them to play one another. But thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. At 412-575-2600. Let's go to Lou, in Baldwin. What's up, Lou? How are you?
Okay, buddy. How you doing?
Good, thanks. What's going on?
Hey, that would constitute a completed pass. I thought that was 2 steps with possession.
So did I.
All the way through.
You know, the whole thing confuses me because if you look at it, you know, quite frankly, common sense will tell you he had possession of the football, right?
Correct.
But in the way I look at this, if this had been reversed, and let's say the Steelers were the team that got victimized by this, let's say it was Pat Freiermuth who had took almost 3 steps. I think we know what possession is. He had the ball. Give credit to Joey Porter Jr. for doing it, but it's, you know, when you think about guys jumping in the end zone, as long as the ball crosses the plane, it's ruled a touchdown. Ball can come, you can just put your hand over, have it knocked away, it still counts. You know, to me, it's common sense more than anything else. But the rule states.
Wasn't that a fumble, though, afterwards?
No, it's just they rule it an incomplete pass. It's not a fumble. If it were a fumble, that would have meant he had possession, and if he had possession, it would have been a touchdown. So, no. I've been trying to read here some of these Q&A afterwards with a pool reporter who went in and talked to the vice president of Instant Replay, Mark Butterworth. And Butterworth says, and bear with me here, the ruling on the field was a touchdown. We quickly looked at the play. The receiver controlled the ball in the air, had his right foot down, then his left foot down. See, to me, that's a touchdown if you had both feet down like that. The control is the first aspect of the catch. Met that. The second aspect is 2 feet or a body part in bounds, which he did have. Then the third step is an act common to the game, and before he could get to the third step, the ball was ripped out. Therefore, it was incomplete. I'm sorry, that's too many things. And I go back to Jesse James. I'm not saying this because, you know, the Steelers earned that win. I'm not going to try to take that away. They did. They went down there and made plays in critical situations. But I go back to Jesse James. To me, that was a touchdown. Eventually, they did do it several years later and said, yeah, it was a touchdown, it was a mistake. Well, this is the same thing to me. This is exactly the same thing. But he didn't complete it according to the rule. Now, the next question would be, would you change the rule? Because I certainly would. I think it's too much responsibility there. The guy had possession. We know what possession looks like. So, I don't know. Very interesting. But the Steelers will take it. Baltimore has to overcome that now, and they have a tough schedule. While the Steelers have what they have, it's a tough schedule, but it's not as tough as Baltimore, which is why I thought Cincinnati's loss today was a big one. If they had beaten the Bills, their schedule, you can conceivably see them running the table the way they were playing, and they would have ended up with a 9-8 record had they done that. So, good day for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They win, and everyone else in the division lose. Mike in New Alexandria. Hi, Mike. How are you?
Hey, Bob. Hey, the question is, new coach at Penn State got Matt Campbell. Mm-hmm. What, do you think did they make a good choice, or what do you think?
Well, I mean, how do we know that until we see it? But, you know, he's a guy who's been interviewed by NFL teams because they thought enough of his coaching out there at Iowa State. And, you know, that's a tough place to coach also. But he's made it into something good. I think they were 8-4 this year. You know, I think it's smart that they keep Terry Smith on because he has been the one centerpiece of that program for a lot of years with James Franklin. He's the top recruiting guy. He can get Matt Campbell up to date on everything they're trying to do. They've also invested $30 million in the NIL. All of this has to happen if you're going to be a competitive team these days. But they've got some digging out to do. They lost a lot of their recruits. Their recruiting class this year dwindled to just 2 people, and that was it. One of whom is a 4-star quarterback, so that's a good thing. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. It's too early for me to tell that. Next year, they don't have to play Ohio State. They don't have to play Oregon. So their schedule's a little bit, or Indiana for that matter. It's right. Thank you, Jeremiah. Jeremiah Miller in my ear telling me that. But you're right. Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon. 3 teams not on Penn State's schedule, which means you can see them, you know, doing okay. But again, there's a lot of work to be done before that is the case. We got to take a break here. 412-575-2600. Join us tonight for the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. We're on after the late news, 11:35. Chris Muller, Andrew Filipponi join me. We have a lot to get into. That's coming up at 11:35. All right, we're back with more. The Pirates have made a couple of trades this week for guys that are not in the majors, but they're high-end prospects, at least once were high-end prospects. Whether or not they're going to end up being here, we'll see. But they haven't really done anything else besides that, which leads us to a report tonight that came out and indicated the Pirates have made free agent designated hitter Kyle Schwarber a 4-year offer, according to people briefed on their discussions. The offer is for more than $100 million. That's $25 million a year. His agent said he wanted $30 million. So, you know, it could be fine to be involved, but sooner or later you got to sign somebody. The proof is in the money. You have to show me that it's going to happen. I would like Kyle Schwarber. As far as DH is concerned, yes, give me a guy who hits 50 home runs. I don't care that he hits 200. I don't care that his batting average, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You get 50 home runs for me, I'll take that one, plus 100 plus RBIs. He had a monster year with the Phillies, so $25 million does not sound like enough for me if I were him. But we'll see. We've heard these reports and then some have been disputed. I don't know if the Pirates are going to sign anyone of this caliber. I hope they do because, again, time is running out with the Paul Skeens era. You got to do something. Let's go to Don in Uniontown. Hello, Don. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Bob, Steelers passing offense. There's been talk all season about receivers who can't get open, or an offensive coordinator who isn't scheming to get receivers open. Mm-hmm. I know we could say it's a little bit of both, but what's your take?
Yeah, I think it is a little bit of both, actually. I think today is the first time we've really seen, and I think the narrative was out there that the Steelers had not thrown a pass in the air over 20 yards in 5 weeks. I mean, that's stunning when you think about it. They had heard that too because Rodgers referred to it in the post-game press conference, but today they came out and identified a weakness, or at least one they thought they could exploit, and that's going down the field. The fact that they went from 0 of these 20-yard throws in 5 weeks to 5 in 1 day, and that's exactly what they had, it's pretty amazing. And they completed those right off the bat, the big one to Metcalf. Nice to get him on loose. He is a guy, and I give him a lot of credit because later in the game when Scarana couldn't take part in special teams, number 4 volunteered to be out there. And he used to be a gunner in college, so he said, let me do it. Put me in, coach. And he did, and he made a pretty good play. So that's the kind of stuff that you want to see. The last thing you want to see him get hurt on special teams, but this was kind of a one-off situation. But, he had his catches, 7, I think, for 148 it was today. You need him to be a big playmaker. And then underneath, there's a lot of stuff open if that becomes more of a regular occurrence. Still, though, the tight ends, I want to see more scheming for them. Freiermuth was wide open on the play that Warren had for 38 yards. He was wide open even before Warren was, and Rodgers went with a check down. He said he didn't see him. But he needs to be more involved. Freiermuth, I want to see more for Jonnu Smith, who went through another game with 0 pass receptions today. They brought him in for a lot of money. He had 88 catches last year, and we haven't seen much at all from him. And I think those guys are going to be key moving forward to their offense. Run game, just not all that much. Again, they only had 34 yards rushing today. Meanwhile, they gave up over 200, just like last week when it was 247 at Acrisure Stadium. You cannot continue to have a steady diet of big runs to the opposition and expect to win as the road gets narrow, and that's what we're looking at right now. As of this moment, the Steelers will be the number 4 seed. If the Steelers win the division, that's where they will be most likely, and that means they're going to take on a wild card team in the first round at Acrisure Stadium. That team could be Buffalo, it could be Houston, it could be Kansas City. They're involved in a tough game right now, 10-10 with Houston. It's playing great football. It could be Jacksonville. It could be a lot of teams. In some of those cases, in fact, most, they may not be favored to win that game at home, but it'll be the opportunity they've been looking for to win a division and then do something in the playoffs, something that's not happened here in quite some time. So we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, Penguins, I thought got a very nice point tonight. It should have been 2. They had a tough road trip. They went to 3 places that are tough to play on the road this year, and that includes Philly. They beat the Flyers, and I thought one of their best efforts of the week of the season. And then they went to Tampa, which is not an easy place to play as well. They're off to a great start, and the Penguins beat them down there. And then tonight in Dallas, they dominated the play as far as a road team is concerned. Dallas only 11 shots on goal through 2 periods, and that is a high-octane team. They have a lot of offensive playmakers on their team. Tristan Jarry did a pretty good job of some good saves, but late in the game, they had an opportunity to tie it I think in just over a minute left, and they did get it from Heiskanen, who got the shot from the point to go in. So they go to overtime, and the Penguins have not been good this year in overtime or shootouts. They did not score on 3 attempts in the shootout. Crosby denied, Rust denied, Letang denied, and Dallas got 1 of their 3 to go in, and that was the difference. So Dallas wins 3-2, but the Penguins are 14-7-6 coming home, 34 points, a lot better than most people thought. All right, again, join us tonight, #1 Cochrane Sports Showdown. That's 11:35, KDKA-TV. Chris Muller and Andrew Filipponi join me. We hope you tune into that one, and we'll see you again tomorrow, right here at the same time, 10:35. Want to hear more of your calls about all these topics. Whatever you want to talk about is fair game with us. That's going to do it for tonight's edition of the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'll see you again tomorrow night at 10:35, and join us tonight at 11. We're on time at 11:35 with the #1 Cochrane Sports Showdown. Have a great week. Hope it's a good one for you.